Welcome back. This is HarpBasics4, and I'm aware that my face isn't exactly in the picture. Too much. And it's rather dark. My apologies. Last time we were thinking about, in HarpBasics3, we were thinking about fingers 1 and 2. Same for both hands. Today on HarpBasics4, we're thinking about our third finger, that notorious middle finger. And if you remember, when we were talking about 1 and 2, the usual distance between these fingers is one string. That's C, B, or C, A, that's a third, or C, G, excuse me, C, yeah, C, A, that's a third, C, G, a fourth, and C, F, a fifth. That's the usual distance. And we talked about, the distance that my very large hands could go, which is about an 11th. So when we get a second, it's two strings that are side by side. Sound like a discord. So we don't get that very often, but we get them. We'll get to those probably in HarpBasics6. So we get usually a third. There's always a string between them. It could be we could get them a fourth, which has two strings open without fingers on them, between them. Or we get a fifth, which is three open strings that we're not playing. In this case, I've got the fifth of the C and the F. And then I go down or back up. And what we're talking about here is the shape, the spacing, that it's just, oh yeah, I know that. It feels exactly like this. I don't even have to think about it. That's it. And our fingers go right there. So again, when we're thinking about our spacing, we're introducing a new finger, our third finger. We are thinking about the typical spacing. It's either a fifth, just like we just did, so the C and the F. This is a good place to begin, or a sixth. So and we need to get used to playing those with both hands up and down the harp. So if I'm thinking the fifth, yeah, I've got three open strings there. Doesn't even sound like I'm playing them both. And one of the things I'm doing as I come down is I'm thinking about where my hand is, how I'm closing it, how it feels, what that distance is. And they're going to reach a point, and I'm going to choose right here to, instead of looking at the strings, look somewhere else, sort of towards the camera. because I want to hear with my own ears, or hear whether or not I'm actually keeping that distance, and do I know exactly how much I need to go up just one step. So one step is, because if you're reading music that's on a music stand in front of you, you don't want to have to keep going, okay, it's that one. What did I just play? I think it's this one. So you really want to know where it is you're going. And something you can do, another thing you can do is, as you're practicing the shape, is can you keep this shape and go up and down a full octave. So here I've got F and C. I don't have another F down here on my harp, but I could keep the basic shape. So that's something, and it's these sorts of things are getting you playing all your strings. So after you've tuned your harp, playing all your strings, both hands. So here I am with, let's see, 1, 2, 3 strings between, so I've definitely got a fifth here. Now you hear that. That means I'm being sloppy. And at first, it doesn't really matter. But there's some point in your practice when you really want to pay attention to that, because eventually it's going to not make your playing very nice. On the other hand, every mistake you make, you want to be able to repeat at will and stop at will. Because some composers will put those things in there. They want it. And like this, you can take your time and say, okay, I'm going to do 2 fairly quickly. Or 3 very quickly, and then take a pause because I'm getting lost in my strings. This is, for me, this is a very unfamiliar position for my left hand. That gets all the strings played for the harp. The other position that we do a lot with our first and third finger is a sixth. So instead of having 3 strings, here I'm on the F, E, D, C, B, or H in Germany and Finland. So that C would be the third, the 3 strings. So that would be the 4th. Then we would have one more, that would be the 5th if we were playing this, which we've just been playing. We're going to go to the 6th. Obviously we've got 7 and 8 coming, so we've got the 6th. Whoops, I'm down to the 5th. And generally speaking, you will find that these are 6ths are very good sounding. 5ths and 6ths generally sound very nice. just when you think you're not going to need them, you're going to need them. So taking some time in your warm-ups for all of these things is a very good thing for you to do. Again, always both hands. Do the same thing with both hands. So then we've got, yeah, that's definitely a sixth. You're teaching yourself a lot of things. You're teaching yourself to close your hands. You're teaching yourself to keep a certain shape because that's what you're using. You're teaching yourself exactly how far up you need to go up one step. One step. Next step. Three steps. Let's see, that's so you're teaching yourself these things, and please allow yourself time. You're teaching yourself, okay, is my hand closing properly? Is my hand relaxed? Am I relaxing? All of these things. And it uses up a tremendous amount of brain power. Oops, my feet weren't flat on the floor. That means I'm not dissipating tension from my body. It's staying in the center of my being rather than being able to get out. So there is a lot going on, even though it feels like you're not doing anything. And like we did last time with the red, red, black. This is another one where you can use the fifth. And to emphasize that, you could, of course, use the the other hand, or you could reverse the process with your hands. That's the fifths. You can do it again with the sixth. Or actually, here you'd be going. So it's something that you can play with. Which one are you going to like the sound of more? Are you going to prefer the sound of using, your, just the single note with your fifth? And what are you going to do with this one? Are you going to want to switch then? Or is it better as... So this one, where you're doing black with the left hand, is that sounding better to you? Or does it sound better to suddenly move your left hand into the fifth? So you've got 1 and 3 there. To you. So this is where you can begin to play with just a very, very simple tune that we began in the very first lesson. Have fun with this. Next time, finger 4.